Hey guys, so before we start this video, I just wanted to say that this is my opinion. Everything that I say in this video is just strictly my opinion. This is not me saying that raids are going to be bad for the game or anything like that. These are just some things I was thinking about and some talking points that I was thinking about when sitting in my chair playing a completely different game. So I just wanted to put that out there so you guys know. I don't know if I said it in the actual footage, so just keep that in mind. Okay, but back to your regularly scheduled programming. Alrighty, what is going on, everyone? My name is Garen Belmont. How you doing? Okay, it's been a little bit since I made a video. I want to apologize for that. There really hasn't been a whole lot of news, and I've been actually working on a couple of other videos as well, but these videos are taking a little bit more time, so I ask that you please be patient with me. I am working to get these done. I'm trying to put a little bit more effort into these videos. Usually when it comes to my discussion videos, I don't really put as much editing into these videos, but when it comes to videos like the one that I'm working on, sorry, I was away from my mic there, so if I got quiet, I apologize. But I'm putting a little bit more effort into those videos compared to what I usually do with my discussion videos. So apologies if you don't mind waiting just a few more days for one of them, and then the other one I should have done by either the end of this week or by early next week. So anyway, in today's video, to kind of tide you guys over, I wanted to talk about raids in Wayfinder. Now, as of now, we do know that raids in Wayfinder are going to be they're going to be difficult. They are going to reward cosmetic items. They're going to reward, I believe, stuff for weapons as well, which is pretty cool. But I wanted to also talk about some of the negatives of raiding in Wayfinder, and this is just going off of my experience with raids in other games. And so I wanted to just kind of take the time. Now, I've been sitting on this video for quite a bit now, and reason being is because I haven't been too optimistic about releasing this video, just because after my RNG video, it seems like a lot of the people who play Wayfinder are a lot of the diehard player base, and a lot of these people don't really want to how do you say, a lot of these people really don't want to hear any criticism of the game. And I just want to say, when it comes to that video, I stand by 100% what I said. And when I made that video for the casual audience, because, and this also ties into rating as well, is that a casual audience in a game is a majority of its player base. And I think it's very problematic when game developers make their games for the 1% of people who actually are willing to put in the time to play them, without considering about the casual player who doesn't have time to, who maybe not have time to raid, or might be trying out or playing other games. And I think these are things that you have to take into consideration as a game developer when you're designing a game. Now, the first thing I wanted to kind of talk about when it comes to raiding, I kind of want to get back on topic here, is gatekeeping. This one specifically comes from Lost Ark, and the reason why is because I think Lost Ark and Wayfinder, just kind of from a broad side of the spectrum, have a very similar kind of. I'm trying to figure out the word to say it. Basically, in Lost Ark, if you wanted to get into raiding, there were a lot of RNG player power systems that you had to engage with if you wanted to raid. Now, I think the kind of where it ends is that Wayfinder raids are not forced upon you. You don't need to do the raids. Compared to Lost Ark, where if you want to experience the story content, if you want to travel to new zones like Algacia, or I think the other one is Voldyke or something, if you want to get to those areas and experience the story content, you have to do the raids in Lost Ark. And the Lost Ark raids are notorious for being incredibly difficult and incredibly frustrating, due to the fact that these games put a lot of emphasis, or these raids put a lot of emphasis on, hey, if one player messes up a mechanic, then the entire raid wipes. And I think that is problematic. Now, we don't know if anything like that is going to be in Wayfinder, but I would imagine if things like that are in Wayfinder raids, then it could be problematic and it could lead to gatekeeping where people, are not letting, new players or letting people, giving them the shot to actually get in and experience the new content or experience the raid content. And that what that does is it ends up splitting the player base and it alienates a lot of those people, again, who might still enjoy Wayfinder, but still just don't have the time to put in all of, trying to get the best in slot accessories or, what have you, getting best in slot echoes and stuff like that. These are all things that you have to take into consideration. And this also goes back to RNG with Wayfinder, where, if it's taking 80 plus, 90 plus, 100 plus runs to get one accessory, that can feel very demotivating and it can feel very much like, hopeless for some people. And some people might just go back to or go play something else. And I think that's, excuse me. And I think that's something that hopefully Airship Syndicate is taking in consideration when it comes to Wayfinder. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to raids that is, more on the negative side is low player engagement. Now, what that means is currently right now Wayfinder has about a peak concurrent player base, at least on Steam, of around 300 people. We don't know what the numbers are looking like on PlayStation. I would imagine PlayStation might actually be higher than on Steam, just because I feel like PlayStation has a lot less options when it comes to games like Wayfinder, so there's a lot less, there's a lot less options. So whereas on Steam, we have a lot more options. We have a lot more games that are accessible to us that are very similar to Wayfinder that we can play. Now, when raids come out, there's definitely going to be a somewhat of a divide in the community, and we don't know how many people are actually going to be engaging in the raids, especially if the raids are really difficult. This could, again, demotivate people from actually doing that content or feeling like that, feeling like they can't do the content. And this is something that's very prevalent in other games. MMORPGs have this the worst. Same thing with games like Destiny. Destiny has this really bad as well, where a lot of the people who play these games don't even raid. And that's kind of like the peak pinnacle content. The content that, back in the day when World of Warcraft was still fresh, people got to level 60. They got their pre-raid best in slot. They went on and they did, Nixia's Lair, Molten Core, AQ40, what else? Next Ramus. And so I think that once raids come out in Wayfinder, there really isn't going to be a very big engagement. Now, I could be wrong about this, and again, this is my opinion. I wanted to kind of say that this is still my opinion. We don't know what is going to happen, but I feel like once we see raids in the game, it's really going to kind of segment the community a little bit, where a portion breaks off that actually do raids. But is there really going to be enough people to actually do the raid content in the game? Now, granted, it's only going to take 6 people to get into a raid, but I don't know. I think this could lead to problems, just because you have, a 1% of the current player base, which is, if I had to take a guesstimate, I would say maybe around like 700, 800, including the PlayStation players. And again, that's a guesstimate that we have no way of actually knowing that because we don't have the PlayStation numbers. But I think once you take like 1% of what we already have there, and then those are going to be the people that are actually going to engage in the raids, it could be problematic once we start having like once we start thinking about like comps and stuff like that. It's like, okay, we need this comp. Well, there's not enough. Well, maybe we just simply can't find someone who, maybe has this like particular build or this specific build. It could create problems in the future, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, another thing that I think is very problematic, something I wish they would actually wait for and actually release raids after this, is the Echo rework system. So we do know that after raids come out in Q2 of 2024, we are getting an Echo rework system, and they kind of already discussed this, I believe, in the what was it, the fireside chat, campfire chat, whatever they called it, where they talked about how it's going to be like a catalog system. You can upgrade the echoes, as well as it's going to take the form of your highest rarity echo. So if you got an epic echo for Hollow One, and that's going to be the echo that that's going to be your highest rarity echo. And I think this is a good system. I've said before, I believe in my first impressions video when Wayfinder first came out, that I wasn't a big fan of the Echo system. I thought it was dog shit. So I think I would honestly prefer to see raids come after the Echo rework system, because I think Echoes right now are terrible. And to have that grind, in combination with everything else that we're going to really need to kind of get our builds to a T for raids, if these raids are going to be difficult, is I would rather see raids come out after the Echo rework system, but that, again, my opinion. Next thing I want to talk about are some positive things, because I know that there are going to be people in the comments below that are going to just absolutely go fucking ham on me if I don't talk about something positive. So I think when it comes to raids, I think one of the currently in the game right now, there's really nothing to work towards. I think currently right now the benchmark for if your build is good or not is like, okay, how fast can you kill Reaver King? Me personally, I've been using Riven as a benchmark, just because it's like, okay, can I get Riven to half health before he goes invulnerable and leaves? That's my benchmark. But a lot of people currently right now, the peak pinnacle content, or at least the kind of the end game content, I don't even want to say that, it is Reaver King. And so now that raids are coming out, it's going to be really awesome to see the fact that the builds that we're working on now actually have a use, and that is to do the raids. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Now, in the future, I would like to see content that is more accessible to casual players. I think that's going to be really important for the overall long-term health of the game. And I feel like that's also something this game really, really needs, because the game right now really kind of alienates a lot of the casual players with how bad RNG is. Again, I stand 100% behind that. I don't care what anyone has to say. I think if you're a casual player who only has an hour or 2 hours a day to play the game, maybe not even a day, maybe every other day, it's really important that there is a pity system or something that kind of help that you can still put time into the game. You still have to put time into the game, but something that still helps you get the items that you need in order to, work on your build. But again, that's just me. But getting back on topic, I think pinnacle content is going to be overall really good for, giving new players something to work for, especially in the future once we go free to play. I think free to play players are going to have, honestly, a blast kind of going through that initial leveling experience, gearing process, especially with like all of the different, with the Echo rework system, armory mastery, what's it called? The armory system. Is that what it's called? I'm sorry, I forget. There's a part of me that keeps wanting to call it mastery rank, but I know that's not right, because I'm thinking of the thing from Warframe. But I do think this is a good thing for. Do think that raids as a whole are really good for the game, but I think there are going to be negative consequences. But I think overall the good outweighs the bad, if you get what I mean. Next up, I want to talk about cosmetic rewards. Currently, right now, there really isn't a whole lot of rewards in the game that reward cosmetics. I mean, we do have helper coins, but helper coins don't really give you like new outfits and new sets to make your Wayfinder look good. So I think this is also going to be just a massive net positive, and I would also like to see cosmetic rewards come from other factors of the game, such as maybe getting maybe not as good looking cosmetic reward from doing maybe Sphere 4 lost zones. Maybe on like triple mutations. I think that would be cool. That would also be a cool reward. So these are just some things to think about. I don't want to make this video too long. I already kind of been dabbling on, and if I'm sorry if I sound like really really bad. I'm actually like my throat is sore from work the other day. So yeah, but with that being said, guys, apologies for not uploading a video in a while. I've been kind of like sitting waiting for some news to talk about, but I wanted to make this video. Also, I want to just put a huge disclaimer. I know I'm putting it at the end too for anyone who does watch the video all the way through. This is just my opinion, and I'm not overall saying that raids are bad for the game. I'm just saying that raids, I think as a whole, are really positive for the game, giving that kind of thing to work towards. But there are some negative consequences that could be a potential of happening in the game, and I think these are some things that we need to take into consideration, especially when it comes to the difficulty of raids, and also when it just comes to where the player base, the overall active player base sits with the game. So that's just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name's Garen Belmont, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.